Hacker-Pschorr Superior Festbier.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I have got one from the Masters from Munich, and it is the Hacker-Pschorr Superior Festbier. Now, I don't know what festival this is trying to celebrate. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's Christmas, but it's one of them beers that, you know, you can put in the category of Marts and Oktoberfest beer, Fest beer, etc. It's a speciality brew, seasonal speciality brew. And coming from Hacker-Pschorr, with the word superior, you know this is going to be good. And I'll have to tell you a little story about this. I originally ordered this from Beers of Europe, and it came broken in the crate. And what a sad sight that was. And it had actually broken on the cap. And the fucking DHL fella, I've never seen somebody run so fast up the path. He just dropped it, rang the bell, and fucked off sharpish. I've seen him since, he's alright about it. And to be honest, Beers of Europe were really good about it. I said to him, can you send another bottle out? And they said, no, it's against their policy. We've got to either refund you, which they did. So I would have felt like a right twat ordering one beer off of Beers of Europe, so I ordered another 15, which is normal, I think, and it was half and half German, half British beer. My fridge, honestly, it's a beautiful thing, right? I open my fridge and there is actually no room to put any more beer there. Half German, half British beer. I must admit, there's no Belgian beer at the moment. I went a bit, as I say, I went a bit over the board with the Belgian beers before Christmas. So I like to keep things balanced on the channel. So I'm balancing it out between the Belgian stuff, the British stuff and the German stuff. I will say one thing. You're not going to find much craft beer on my channel now. I wouldn't say I've fallen out of love with craft beer, but there's too many people doing it. And to be honest, I love my beers, but I'm really struggling to find the difference between a lot of the New England stuff and, you know, a lot of the IPAs that are out now. It's just much of a muchness, to be honest. And that's my opinion. I'm not saying this is how it is, but it's just my opinion. Maybe it's because I'm old, maybe it's because I like traditional beers, but I'm just getting a little bit fed up with that sort of, you know, that just overly hopped American style beer. And I think our stuff in the United Kingdom, is the traditional stuff, is getting ignored a little bit on these review channels, and I want to address that balance. But I love German beer and I love Belgian beer, so I'm not going to ignore them two styles. And of course the German stuff is very traditional, and I love that, and the Belgian stuff is very traditional. So if you want, it's just me being an upholder of traditions. You know, fashions come and go. What's the old saying? And they say it about, not Liverpool, because they're shit. I think it was West Ham. Is it glory is temporary, class is permanent? Yeah, that's it. Give me now. But yeah, that's what I say. And that does apply to some of the beers. Being serious now, you know, all the IPA stuff, you know, they're very fashionable, as were certain beers years ago. But I think everything will come full circle. Obviously IPAs have their place and craft brewers have their place as well, but to be honest, I'm just fed up paying fucking £5 for 330ml and 440ml of beers when you can get stuff like this. And I haven't even tasted this yet, but I know it's going to be good. You can get stuff like that for just over £2. I mean, that's just a fucking no-brainer. in my opinion. But there you go. Anyway, I'm not knocking craft beers. If you like craft beer, fucking crack on. I am not here to say what's crap. Well, I am here to say what's crap and what's good, but I'm not saying craft beer's crap. I'm just too much into my traditional beers. You know, if craft beer is your thing, you're not really going to see much of that on here. It's going to be more traditional stuff. And to be honest, I'm not here for likes. I'm not here for fucking subscriptions. I'm certainly not trying to make a living out of it. That's why I swear so much. That's why I really don't give a fuck on these channels if some beer is shit. And so, you know, nobody's ever sent me beer from a brewery in my life to review. And even if they did, which they probably wouldn't, I'd be the last person they'd pick. But if they did and the beer was shit, I'd fucking tell you. Because at the end of the day, I'm more concerned about people putting their hand in their pocket, and they've obviously got other priorities as well. They might have families, they might have rent to pay, mortgages. You know, we're all in the same boat together. You know what I mean? Obviously, some people are richer than others, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm not looking at this to make a fucking living out of. I have a job that allows me to buy a beer on a fairly regular basis to review. So, you know, why not share the luck? Why not share the knowledge? Anyway, after all that, let's get on to the beer. Right, this is a 500ml bottle of Festbier. This is Superior Festbier. As I say, I think it's probably, they're trying to put this out for Christmas. I don't know, because they have Christmas beers as well. So who knows? It's a Festbier, and that's all that matters to me. It doesn't give me any indications of what style of beer. Now, Festbier can be any style, you know. Usually it's malts, so there you go. I'm just going to take this for what it is. And of course, Hacker-Pschorr, fantastic brewery, been going since 1417. The Hacker Brewery have. They amalgamated in 1972 with the Pschorr Brewery to become Hacker-Pschorr in Munich, and they are one of the best breweries in Munich. Consistently good. I should have done a category on my best of German beers for most consistent brewery. Now, in every one of the best beers, Hacker-Pschorr were mentioned, and two of the most consistent breweries, one for Belgium, one for Germany. In Belgium, I know they're not from Belgium, they're from the Netherlands. La Trappe, for me, consistently good. May not have got the best beer, but consistently good. And Hacker-Pschorr, for me, another good one. Just consistently good. Again, may not have got the best beer, but always up there with the top. Never a bad beer from this lot. So with that in mind, before we do, let's not get too carried away. I just want to go a little bit about the hops in this. There's two types of hops. There is Hallertau Tradition, which is, you know, a very, well, it's a sort of noble hop. It's a variation on a noble hop. And they've also got Hercules hops as well. Both very traditional, noble-esque hops, if you know what I mean. There's no real big citrus in there. It's all about the earth and the spice. Maybe some floral notes, little grassy notes in there as well. But that's what it's all about. So, with that in mind, fucking hell, I need a fucking iron lung saying all this lot. With all that in mind, let's get this open. Right, here we go, the famous plop. Now, plop has got a very different meaning to any English bloke with a 5-year-old toilet humour like me. But that's the plop. As I say, I did order this before, but the cap bust on it. And yeah, it all went everywhere. But hats off to Beers of Europe, they did replace that. Rang me up the next day, no less. I sent an email saying, look, your beer's been busted in the crate. Any chance you can fire another one out? They rang me up, said, nah, can't do it. Here's your money back. Order it again. There's fucking hundreds left. So that's what I did, along with about 15 other beers. There you go. Right, here it is in a glass. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? Looks like a Martzen. Fucking carbonation's going for it. I can smell it from here. Very grassy, herbal notes straight away. Peppery spice. It's all about the hops here. Herbal, grass and spice. Not much malt at all that I'm getting at the moment. Oh, maybe there is now. Maybe there's a little bit of sweetness on that. Smells gorgeous. And on the front of the can, fuck's sake, I've just had the, who is it? The Ridgeway Brewing Imperial Red, which was 10%. So you've got to give me a bit of leeway here, right? On the side it says Der Himmel. What was it? Der Himmel der Bayern. It basically means the heaven from Bavaria. Heaven from Bavaria. So that's why I call Munich beer heaven. There you go. There it is in the glass. It looks lovely. Aroma's really nice. Quite sweet malt, bread type malt, but it's more about the hops on this, as a good Marzen should be. Let's get it down the hatch. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. Oh, that is good. That is not good, that is fucking outstanding. Oh, honestly, that is just fucking great. Super light mouthfeel. Really is. There's a fair amount of carbonation, I will say that. But there's also some very nice flavours there. I've got a lot of herbal notes and grassy notes. But the malt on this as well, that shines through really nicely indeed. I don't know whether it's because I've just had that, what was effectively a barley wine, that this feels really light, because that, you know, that is the opposite end of the scale of this. Dark, full of alcohol, not much carbonation, and very, very ethanol heavy. This is just super light, and even though it's 6%, there's no trace of ethanol in there at all. This is all about the hops and the malt. Oh, it just slips down. A little bit of honey sweetness on there as well, coming from the yeast. Oh, this is beautiful. This is absolutely fantastic. Look at that carbonation. You see that? That doesn't translate to the mouthfeel. That's not coarse at all. That is the perfect balance to just push the flavours around. Oh, and do you know what? This lot really do just get everything right. That is why they are one of the most consistent brewers, I think, in Germany. So definitely in Munich. Now, Paulaner, I've heard some not too good reviews of the Paulaner stuff that's available over here from people that I respect when it comes to beer. Their opinions, they're saying it's not too good. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about the Hacker-Pschorr stuff, never. And I would question their, well, I know it's all about taste, but I would question their competence when it comes to beer if they, you know, say that the Hacker-Pschorr stuff is in any way bad. I mean, obviously there's bad, you can get bad bottles out there, but I've never had a bad beer from Hacker-Pschorr, and this certainly isn't a bad beer. Oh, this just gets better as it goes down. Perfectly, but everything is in perfect balance. The sweetness, the malt, the hop character, the mouthfeel, it's just perfect. When they said superior, they were not fucking joking, I'll tell you that now. This is a really good beer. This is, well, it's not a good beer, it's an exceptional beer. And with the strength of it, it's either a Bock or a Marzen. And I'm going to err on the side of Märzen because it says Festbier. But at 6%, you know, that's the sort of same ABV as a decent Bock beer or a good Festbier, but that's the balance between, you know, that's the fine line between a Bock and a Märzen. And as it says Festbier, usually Festbier is Märzen, so I'm going to go with Märzen, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I probably would go as far as to say this is probably the best Märzen I've tried. That's how good it is. Oh, it's beautiful. It's just perfectly balanced, but the mouthfeel is so light, and it's 6%. It's a little bit above the norm, and this has got a little bit of a kick with the ABV at 6%. But it's just getting better and better as I drink more and more, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's lovely. There's no way I can say anything bad about that, because there is nothing to say bad about it. It's just full of flavour, perfectly balanced, perfect mouthfeel. And yeah, I'd go as far as to say this is the best Märzen I've tasted. And that's a new one on me. I wasn't too aware of the Superior Festbier. I'd never seen it advertised before. I just saw it on Beers of Europe and I thought, it's Hacker-Pschorr, it's going to be good. Little did I realise, yeah, this is the best Märzen I've tried. So what's the verdict on Hacker-Pschorr? Well, apart from being the most consistently excellent brewery from Germany, this Superior Festbier, which I am more or less convinced it's a Märzen, is probably the best Märzen I've tasted. And I've tasted quite a few, and I've tasted them all from the top brewers in Munich as well, the Augustiner. I've tasted the Hofbrau Märzen, which is the Oktoberfest beer. Now this is strange because the Hacker-Pschorr Oktoberfest beer was brilliant. I think if they'd have put this as their Oktoberfest beer, this would have been, for me, hands down the winner. But the Hofbrau stuff for me was, again, amazing. But, you know, I'm talking about the best breweries in the world, without a doubt, you know, and I'll argue the point with anybody who says differently. You know, these, when it comes to Munich, that's when or it comes to Bavaria, I should say, that's where your best brewers are. Certainly of the German style of beers. I don't think there's anywhere outside of. There's certainly some good ones, don't get me wrong. That's probably a bit harsh on all the other breweries in Germany, but I just think Bavaria, they just take it so seriously. And you only have to look at where the hops are grown in Hallertau to see how serious that it's taken, and it shows in beers like this. For me, well, you know it's going to be a 10 out of 10 all day long, and if I could give it more I would, but this is superb. This is probably the best Märzen you will ever taste, and when I see craft brewers trying to do Märzen now, all I'll say to them is taste this and come as close as you can, and then call your beer a Märzen, and it probably still won't be as good, but it will certainly be fucking good if this is the benchmark, because this is the best for me, and it will probably remain so unless someone else comes up with one that just blows me away. But I can't see anyone doing it, because this is just perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean perfect. Everything about it, the flavours, the mouthfeel, just everything. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Of course it's recommended. In fact, it's more than recommended. You need to get on Beers of Europe now and buy this up before it goes, because if you don't, you are going to be missing out. And remember, the French would never come up with something like this.